On a reality show, I failed a challenge and had to take a punishment from a rival starlet. She dared me to send a flirty message to the infamous hot-tempered heir, Nick. Just when everyone thought I was about to set him off. Nick glanced at the camera, annoyed. Right now? Can't we just kiss when we get home? The live chat exploded. I'm a notorious workaholic in the business. I practically live on film sets all year round. A few years into my career, I already had a string of hits to my name. I was considered top tier among the young actresses of my generation. Even my fans were walking on air. But the back-to-back, high-intensity jobs were becoming too much, even for my fans. They started flooding my agency's social media, demanding I take a break and get some rest. At the very least, I couldn't keep grinding 24/7. So after my latest project wrapped, my agent booked me on a chill lifestyle show to tide me over. I'd been laying low and relaxing for a few episodes, thinking it would be smooth sailing from here on out. Until Nick suddenly showed up in front of me. I was completely floored. Nick, my secret husband. The sole heir to the Wiltons' fortune. Also known in the industry for his terrible temper, a real terror. So, the moment he appeared on camera, the live chat went wild. Whoa, it's the prince in the flesh. Didn't expect a billionaire to be on a reality show. He looks so good on camera, I can't imagine how handsome he must be in person. Isn't our Jenna signed to his company? Maybe he's here for her? The comment caught the attention of up-and-coming starlet Jenna, who walked up with a smile. Nick, long time no see. I can't believe you're actually on this show. She was deliberately vague, her tone tinged with a coy shyness. As if there was something between them. The chat, of course, took the bait. OMG, Jenna actually knows Nick. Of course, big shots run with other big shots. And she calls him by his first name so casually. They must be close behind the scenes. Could she be the next Mrs. Wilton? What are you guys thinking? It doesn't have to be marriage. Maybe our Jenna is a socialite herself. I almost burst out laughing. Early in my career, Nick used to have meals specially delivered to my set. Just so I could eat better. They'd arrive in a different luxury car every day. Someone posted a picture online, and people recognized the containers from an exclusive, members-only restaurant in the city. It caused quite a stir on several film sets at the time, with everyone guessing which Alistair was getting the special treatment. I thought it was too much, so I told Nick to get the posts taken down and to stop sending the food. I put up with you working, and now I can't even send you food? Nick threw a fit. Are you trying to kill me? I could hear the frustration in his voice, so I wrapped my arms around his neck and cooed. Don't be mad. I'll spend time with you as soon as I'm done with work, okay? Nick pouted, and I hugged him, swaying back and forth. I finally coaxed him out of his mood. He glanced at me. You promised. I just never expected that the very next day, Jenna would post on her socials, a master chef's touch is just different. The picture showed several exquisite dishes. Her fans seized the opportunity to hype her up, immediately crafting a rich girl persona for her. And I never expected to be so continuously busy that Nick would end up chasing me all the way out here. Nick didn't rush to answer her. After scanning the room, his eyes narrowed when he spotted me in the corner, leaning against the wall and enjoying the show. His look seemed to say, "Think you can run?" My back stiffened, and I instinctively stood up straight. What was this guy planning? Who's Nick looking at? Is he searching for someone? Jenna is standing right in front of him. I think he's looking in Lily's direction. This Nick guy is so rude. Our girl has been talking to him forever and he hasn't said a word. Jenna, playing the part of the understanding girl, said, "Oh, no, Nick's probably just a bit overwhelmed." With that, she pulled out her phone, ready to ask for his number. Nick's gaze finally landed on her, cold and distant. He parted his lips. "And you are?" His voice was calm, but it created a massive distance. "LMAO, I'm dying. Trying to cozy up to the prince, but he doesn't even know who you are." Jenna stood there, mortified, her face turning red. But she still tried to save face. "You don't remember? We met at the annual gala." LOL, if that counts as knowing someone, then I hang out with the world's richest man under the same sky. This is so awkward. She's trying way too hard. Seeing the comments take a turn, Jenna bit her lip, looking like she was about to cry. The director quickly stepped in to smooth things over. "You meet so many people, it's easy to forget. Why don't we all exchange numbers now so we can communicate better later?" He gestured for Jenna to hand over her phone. This time, Nick didn't refuse, but he slowly turned his gaze toward me. His Adam's apple bobbed as he said, a meaningful tone in his voice. "Lily. Why don't you give them my contact info?" I was stunned. The live chat froze. Lily and Nick know each other? I've never heard that. What's going on? I'm so confused. Lily is so calculating. She didn't say she knew the prince before, but now she's stepping up to steal the show. Exactly. She made our Jenna look so bad. Seriously, I don't get it. Is knowing Nick such a big deal? Should I have just announced it from the start? Hey everyone, I know Nick. Wouldn't that just make me sound like a total moron? Jenna saw those comments too and asked cautiously, "Lily, you and Mr. Yen know each other?" I had to admire her even in this situation, she managed to sound so familiar with him. Nick raised an eyebrow, about to speak. I quickly cut him off. "Not really, we've just met a few times." His open mouth slowly closed, his eyes filled with an unspoken grievance. To prevent him from pulling any more stunts, I quickly got everyone into a new group chat. Then I added Nick. The show's crew was kind enough to zoom in on my screen. "You have invited 0211 to the group chat." 0211 was my contact name for Nick. Wait, isn't that contact name a little too professional? LMAO, 0211, I'm dead. Girl, you and I are on the same page. Is it just me, or is the vibe between Lily and Nick off? It's subtle, but I don't know, anyone else getting this? I get it. I totally get it. Did you see Nick's micro-expression just now? And this contact name, if you don't know someone well, you use their name, or at least their last name. Who starts with 0211? I remembered Nick had indeed been unhappy about that contact name for a while. He had wrapped his arms and legs around me, trying to persuade me. Other people get babe, darling, or hubby. How come I just get the last 4 digits of my phone number? He whined, shaking my waist. Change it, please. Pretty please. At the time, I was reading a new script and was getting really annoyed. I slammed the script down and asked him one question. Am I other people? Nick went silent. He quietly turned around and wrapped himself up in the blanket. I went back to my script for a bit, then noticed he hadn't moved. I looked down and saw his 6'+ frame huddled on the very edge of the bed. He was hiding under the covers, who knows what he was doing. I was afraid he'd make himself sick with anger. I put down my script and hugged him from behind, resting my chin on his shoulder over the blanket. Still mad? No movement. I thought for a moment. I'll raise your allowance. Still no movement. I grit my teeth and, in a moment of desperation, blurted out, fine. I'll be on top tonight, okay? The blanket stirred, and then a fluffy head popped out. Nick's eyes were still a bit dazed. He looked like he didn't understand what I was talking about. What's wrong, honey? He held up his phone. I'm playing a game. It's Snake. I'm about to break my record. Seeing my expression, Nick thought for a few seconds and then handed me his phone. You want to play? I'll play you into the ground. Huh? Are we going to a cemetery this late at night? Too bad Nick had no idea he'd just missed out on the opportunity of a lifetime. Once everyone was in the group, the director announced the first task of the day. Each person was responsible for making one dish, which would then be tasted and voted on by everyone. The person with the most votes would get first pick of the bedrooms for the night. During a break in filming, the director quietly came over to ask if they should prepare a pre-made meal for Nick. He was the prince, after all, and they were worried about what would happen if he couldn't cook. No need, Nick refused without a second thought, giving the director a strange look. What kind of man can't cook? The director was speechless. After that, Nick turned and winked at me. I wasn't worried about Nick's cooking skills. He cooked for himself when he was studying abroad in Germany. He'd often send me pictures, and after a few minutes of chatting, he'd ask when I was coming to visit him. The recording began. I opened the basket in front of me. Inside were just a few tomatoes and potatoes. Oh. I dug a little deeper and found 2 chili peppers. Then I glanced over at Jenna's station. She had all sorts of expensive seafood. The most basic thing she had was a rack of ribs. Did the favoritism have to be this obvious? Is the production team crazy? This is blatant favoritism. I looked around, and Lily has the worst ingredients by far. Even Mr. Lee has a mix of meat and veggies. And don't even get me started on Nick's setup. They've lost their minds. Just because Lily is easygoing doesn't mean her fans are. LL's fans are not to be messed with. Their power is legendary. So ridiculous. Blaming the show because your ingredients suck. How come everyone else's are fine and only yours are bad? Jenna's family is rich, maybe she brought her own stuff. What's all the fuss about? Jenna saw the comments too and walked over, covering her mouth with a giggle. Lily, honey, do you want to switch with me? If I had known the show prepared this for you, I would have given you mine. I'd been on the show for a few episodes now and had kept a low profile. Jenna's career was taking off, so it was normal for the production team to favor her. I shook my head and said it was fine, it was all just for show anyway. At the end of the day, we'd all be staying in the same house. Oh, Jenna said, looking dejectedly at the camera. Well, I guess some people just don't need my help, sigh. She feigned a casual shrug. Looks like she doesn't need it at all. Oh well. I frowned instinctively. The chat also chimed in to defend her. Don't be sad, Jenna, if she doesn't want it, we do. Exactly, our girl was trying to be nice and she gets no gratitude. So rude. Are the people in this chat idiots? How can you say something so dumb? We asked the production team to treat every artist fairly and reject unequal treatment. Please treat artists fairly, X100. Thankfully, the public's eyes were clear, and many neutral viewers and my own fans came to my defense. Those few comments were quickly buried. Jenna stood there awkwardly and then called the director over, about to say something. Suddenly, an arm rested on my shoulder. Nick stood behind me, casually draping his arm over my shoulders. His tone was flat. What's the intense discussion about? He then turned his head to the director. Aren't we starting the competition? His voice was a few degrees colder than before. After they all walked away, I shrugged his arm off my shoulder. What are you doing here? I asked. Nick's expression changed. Well, nobody wanted me, so I had to come find my own way. He drooped his head, looking pitiful. If these two aren't a thing, I'll eat my hat. Something is 10,000% not right here. Strokes chin. Nick, what are you doing? Get away from my Lily, you're not allowed to touch her. What's with this Nick guy? He's so cold to Jenna. I ignored him and walked straight to the stove to start washing the vegetables. I only had 2 ingredients in total, so I could only make something simple. Halfway through washing, Nick held out his arm. I looked up. Seeing I didn't get it, Nick raised an eyebrow. He wiggled his arm, signaling for me to help him roll up his sleeves. After I finished one, he switched to the other arm. Once both sleeves were rolled up, he turned around, looking pleased with himself. Why do I get the feeling they're like an old married couple? Does anyone else think this pair is so shippable? Whatever, I'm shipping them. It's official. I quickly made a simple dish of scrambled eggs with tomatoes and stir-fried potato slivers, and that was it. I stepped aside to watch Nick work. I helped him out, handing him things he needed without a word, perfectly anticipating his next move. Nick took them from me with practiced ease. He scooped a little soup, blew on it, and held it to my lips. Taste it. After I gave him a nod of approval. Nick raised his eyebrows smugly. Of course it's good. Do you know who I am? I decided to be mischievous and teased him. Who are you? He choked, his eyes darting towards the camera next to us. He looked like he wanted to say something but swallowed his words. He turned his head away, refusing to look at me. I realized my mistake. We'd been married for years, but I'd never wanted to go public. This was a sore spot for Nick. Great, now I'd really pissed him off. I sighed inwardly, already thinking about how to make it up to him later. What happened? I looked away for a second and the atmosphere got so weird. Ooh. Nick was just asking Lily for official recognition and got shot down. Yeah, he was feeding her just a moment ago. Really, I missed it. You guys aren't lying to me, are you? LOL, and this is how rumors get started. Unsurprisingly, the 2 dishes I made got the lowest scores. According to the show's rules, I had to accept a punishment designated by the others. Nick was nowhere in sight at the moment. Jenna immediately suggested, why don't we have Lily send a message? Just as a joke. Lily and Nick are such good friends, he definitely won't get mad. With that, she forwarded a sticker to me. I knew what was up as soon as I saw it. It was a cartoon character kissing sticker. A few years ago, when Nick was at an event, a popular actress at the time tried to get close to him. She wanted to stir up some romance rumors to boost her own status. But she never expected Nick to be so merciless. He had her escorted out. That actress was never seen in the industry again. That night, Nick came home and complained to me for ages. Honey, you have no idea, she almost touched me. He patted his chest and let out a long sigh of relief. Good thing I dodged quickly. Clearly, Jenna knew about this incident and wanted me to suffer the same public humiliation. Unfortunately for her, this was exactly what I wanted. I was just wondering how to butter him up. I opened my chat with Nick. Afraid that people would see our previous messages, I quickly sent the new one just as the camera panned over. The chat interface now only showed a single sticker. Kissing. JPG. The live chat was waiting for the drama to unfold. Lily actually dared to send it. Isn't she afraid of being blacklisted? No way, I don't think Nick's temper is as bad as they say. His interaction with Lily earlier was so sweet it gave me a toothache. Does anyone else feel like this Jenna is deliberately targeting Lily? Making her send something like that, what if they aren't actually close? That would be so awkward. Camera, pan the camera over. I want to see Nick's reaction. The moment I sent it, a phone started ringing behind me. Nick came out of the bathroom and saw the message. He froze for a second. His eyes quickly scanned the room and found me. He frowned. Just when everyone thought I was about to get on his bad side. Nick looked at the camera impatiently. Right now? Can't we just kiss when we get home? There was a hint of vulnerability in his tone that was hard to miss. The live chat froze for a second, then exploded. He looked so well behaved just now. What did I say? What did I tell you? I knew there was something going on between these two. This has to be fake. No way they'd say this on a reality show. It's probably all scripted. This Lily girl has some nerve, being told to send it and actually sending it. Seeing everyone frozen in place, Nick put his phone away and chuckled. Just kidding. You guys didn't actually believe that, did you? The director stammered back to reality, we didn't, but it looks like the viewers did. The director showed everyone the live feed, which had been shut down due to the frantic discussion. Nick glanced at me nervously, sensing trouble. You know what, I think I need to use the restroom again." He turned, about to make a run for it. "Get back here," I said, my vision going dark, and dragged him into the break room right in front of everyone. "Careful, watch your hand," Nick said obediently, following behind me. He had to stoop slightly because of his height. "I'm not going to run. Talk." I grabbed his collar and pinned him against the wall, interrogating him. "Did you do that on purpose?" I had figured Nick wasn't outside and was planning to wait until he was done gloating in the bathroom before coming out. I never expected this. As I moved in closer, Nick instinctively raised his hands in surrender, letting me have my way. "Emichim," he hummed lazily, his eyes half closed as he smiled at me. I did it on purpose. I was shocked. I was stunned by his audacity, and even more surprised that he admitted it so readily. A sense of unease crept over me. I probed, "Didn't I tell you? I said I'd come back and spend time with you after I finished this movie." Nick turned away, refusing to look at me. "That's what you said last time." Oops, I'd used that excuse before. What now? Watching Nick lean against the wall, miserably picking at the paint. My heart softened. I knew he wasn't necessarily pushing to go public, he just wanted me to come home and spend more time with him. My plan was to shoot a couple more good films in the next 2 years. Then I'd clear my schedule to focus on trying for a baby, which would also mean I could spend more time with them. After all, good films are rare, and time waits for no one. Seeing my dilemma, Nick took a deep breath. He looked down, as if talking to himself. "It's okay, I can wait a little longer." He took my hand as if seeking confirmation. "You won't lie to me, right?" Looking into Nick's sparkling eyes, I couldn't bring myself to say no. Comparing the two of us, I was starting to feel like a bit of a jerk. "How about, you come to my room tonight?" I couldn't bear it. Nick immediately straightened up. "Am I finally going to have my way with you?" I gritted my teeth. "We're just sleeping. Get your mind out of the gutter." Oh. After all that, I finally remembered what had just happened. I pulled out my phone and quickly logged into my social media account. I wanted to see what people were saying. The page took a full minute to load. As soon as it opened, I saw Lily Nick at the top of the trending list. Next to it was a dark red exploding tag. Only a few minutes had passed, but the internet was already on fire with discussion. A list actress and a wealthy heir, this setup feels a bit familiar. Strokes chin. Probably just a fling, don't take it seriously. Who knows how she hooked up with him? The jealousy is practically oozing out of the screen from the comment above. Just say you're envious. Exactly, can't it just be a sweet, normal romance? Girls, ignore her and come join our new corn porridge fan forum. Corn porridge? What's that? I clicked the link and it was a fan forum for me and Nick. Are they always this fast? How long has it been, and there's already a fan forum? And based on the growing number of followers, it seemed to be quite popular. Just as I was about to exit, the screen flashed. It showed that a celebrity had just joined. Nick, using his official verified account, had boldly followed the forum. And he dropped a sizable cash gift into the group. The caption read, "Please create more content." When I came out, I found everyone else still waiting. Jenna gave me a strange look but didn't cause any more trouble. People in the entertainment industry are the best at reading the room. They know what to say and what not to say. I quickly apologized and had my assistant buy afternoon tea for the entire staff. The director came over with a smile and asked if we should resume the live stream. After getting a confirmation, he and his team restarted the broadcast. After all the drama, the trending topics were all about me and Nick. The moment the live stream went back on, it was flooded with countless drama-hungry onlookers. Witnessing a legendary moment in showbiz. At lunch, I was originally supposed to sit next to a male celebrity. His name was Leo. I hadn't worked with him before, but I'd heard from Carrie and Sarah that he was a nice guy, good-looking too, basically one of the girls. Nick patted him on the shoulder, wanting to switch seats with him. before he could even finish his sentence. Leo let out a wow and said, "How did you get these muscles? They're beautiful." He then reached out to touch them. Nick had never experienced anything like this. He immediately crossed his arms over his chest and hid behind me. What is he doing? I couldn't help but laugh as I pulled them apart. Leo scratched his head. Don't worry, you're not my type. No one escapes Leo's muscle inspection. Ha 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 ha, this is hilarious. Leo's still hung up on his ex, Sebastian, right? LOL, isn't he afraid of getting beaten up by his bestie? In the end, Nick got the seat he wanted. He sat down next to me, his hand resting on the back of my chair, his body naturally leaning closer. I glanced around and noticed that Jenna had been moved to a seat further back. I wondered who arranged that. After lunch, a group of us chatted for a while. The conversation eventually turned to relationship history. Leo had a few drinks at lunch and was perhaps getting emotional. He looked up at the sky, tears streaming down his face silently. I once thought I had found true love, but I never expected. I casually finished his sentence, "He cheated on you?" Leo shook his head. No, it was much worse than that. His expression turned to one of tragic indignation, and he gritted his teeth as if remembering something. I never expected, he was useless in bed. The award-winning actor can't perform? Whoa, no way. Sebastian doesn't look like the type who can't get it up. Nick nodded sagely. You definitely can't be with a man who's no good. I shot him a glare, telling him not to rub salt in the wound. Nick made a zipping motion across his lips. After going around the circle, the topic naturally landed on Nick. The director, of course, wasn't going to miss such a golden opportunity. He tentatively asked him if he had any standards for a partner. I turned my head to look at him, curious to hear what he would say. Nick leaned back in his chair, a smile playing on his lips. Standards for a partner? I don't have any. I was taken aback. The others hadn't expected that answer either and all looked over. Seeing all eyes on him, Nick paused, then continued. I don't have a specific list of requirements. I wouldn't like a girl just because she happens to meet certain criteria of mine. You don't win a girl's heart with a checklist, you do it with your heart. I love her, so she is my only standard. As his words fell, Nick slowly turned to look at me. His dark, bright eyes were filled with undisguised love. My heart trembled, and I was speechless for a long moment. The live chat froze. Holy crap, this guy is so smooth. This is so sweet, I'm dying. Damn it, why can't my boyfriend say things like this? I'm gonna wake him up and make him start over. Wah, Leo cried, clutching a wine bottle. Why can't I find someone like that? Perhaps he was truly drunk, as Leo started crying to anyone he saw. Seeing this, the director had no choice but to announce a pause in the live stream. We had the afternoon off. A group of us managed to coax Leo to go to bed. I was about to leave too. Just as I stood up, Nick's phone rang. He walked a short distance away to take the call. Before he left, he gave me his suit jacket. Hold this for me. I'll come find you in a bit. I nodded. I waited in the living room for a while, but he didn't come back, so I decided to go upstairs and rest. I had just gone up 2 steps when my high heel got stuck. I was about to call for help. Nick came in from outside and quickly walked over, steadying me. Don't move. He knelt on one knee, his large, steady hand supporting the sole of my foot. He was wearing a white shirt today, the sleeves rolled up to his elbows. As he gently lifted his palm, the muscles in his forearm bulged, and at the same time, I was successfully freed. Afraid I would lose my balance, his other hand held my wrist. My red-soled high heel was pressed against his palm. All right, go get some sleep. I was confused. Aren't you going to? Nick gave a wry smile. I'm busy, babe. He pointed to the laptop behind him. The call must have been about company business. I feigned disappointment. Well, okay then. I guess I'll have to sleep all by myself. With that, I tried to make a run for it. But he grabbed my wrist and pulled me into his arms, wrapping his arm tightly around my waist. He leaned down and gave me a firm kiss on the lips. Don't be in such a hurry. I'll make sure you get plenty of sleep tonight. Looking at Nick's playful eyes, I had a bad feeling. I wiped my lips forcefully, pushed him away in embarrassment, and headed upstairs. Only to bump into Leo at the top of the stairs, who had come out looking for water and had accidentally witnessed everything. You guys. His finger trembled, and he ran off, crying his eyes out. I woke up to find it was already dark. The director had announced in the group chat that there would be no live stream tonight. This episode had already generated more than enough buzz. I got up, took a hot shower, and removed my makeup. After a nice skincare routine, I lay in bed, scrolling through the fan forum on my alt account. My fans truly are something else. In just one afternoon, the forum was filled with fanfiction, many of them tagged with a giant E for explicit. There were also some broken image links mixed in. Just how risque were these? I was getting really into it, squealing under the covers, when a message popped up on my phone. 0211, I'm here. Even through the text, it wasn't hard to imagine his excitement. I held back a laugh and replied. Come quick. Soon, I heard footsteps in the hallway. I opened the door. Nick came running over, hugging his own pillow and blanket. I peeked my head out and saw that the hallway was empty. I pulled him inside. Before I could say a word, my world went dark. Nick wrapped me up in the blanket and accurately found my lips with his. In the small space, the sound of rustling fabric and heavy breathing was magnified in my ears. I was kissed until I couldn't breathe. Nick's kisses were like him, fierce and intense. I struggled to break free for a breath of air. Nick, having lost all reason, chased after me with dazed eyes, continuing to kiss me. Oh, what the heck? Let him. It's not like it would kill me. As it turns out, I was wrong. None of the things Nick brought went unused. The pillow was placed under my lower back. Nick, shirtless, took my hand and brought it to his lips, kissing my fingertips. My eyes were covered in a layer of mist, and I couldn't see his face clearly. I could only feel his hot, wet lips sliding down my neck, my collarbone, and all the way down. When they reached my stomach, I shivered pathetically. This is so embarrassing. Wait, I said, my fingers gripping the hair at the back of his head, don't kiss there. Let me catch my breath. Nick looked up, his lips glistening. Babe, we're just getting started. All night long. I finally understood how terrifying a man who's been kept waiting can be. In the second before I felt like I was about to suffocate, I was draped over the edge of the bed and vaguely heard him let out a blurry laugh. Don't hide. After the show ended, I put my work on hold. I was getting ready to try for a baby. I glanced at the clock, it was 6. I grabbed a set of car keys and prepared to head out. Nick had a party tonight and had specifically told me to come pick him up. If I didn't show, who knows what kind of tantrum he'd throw when he got home. At that thought, I instinctively put a hand on my lower back. When I arrived, I handed my keys to the valet. I followed the directions Nick had given me and walked inside. Just as I got to the room, I heard a boastful voice drift out. I'm not just saying this, but in our house, if I say one thing, Lily doesn't dare say another. Pete was about to say, yeah, right, when he caught a glimpse of a figure standing in the doorway. I waved at Pete, signaling him to keep quiet. Nick was completely oblivious. I'm the one who wears the pants in our family. Pete, who loved to stir the pot, added fuel to the fire. Isn't the rumor that someone had to chase his wife all the way to a TV show? Nick picked up a decoration from the table and threw it at him. Get lost. What do you know? I was just giving her some face. Is that so? I pushed the door open and walked in, dangling my phone. Because I recorded everything. Holy crap. Nick's knees went weak, and he nearly fell to the ground. Honey, why are you here so early? I played along with him. Of course, I'm here to pick up my darling husband and take him home. You. Peach shivered with goosebumps. That's so cheesy. Nick glanced at him. Well, you don't have anyone to pick you up. Pete fell silent for a few seconds, then pulled out his phone and started making a call. I laughed and cut him off. Alright, stop messing around. Let's go. After saying goodbye to the others, I left with Nick. He was in a great mood on the way back, humming a tuneless song. You're in a good mood? Nick turned left onto the main road. Of course. They're always calling me a lonely bachelor. Hearing that, I felt a pang of guilt. Nick noticed my mood dip. He gripped the steering wheel. What, you feel sorry for me? I rested my chin on my hand and nodded. He hadn't expected me to actually admit it. How about, you wear that outfit tonight? He asked tentatively. My gloomy mood vanished instantly. I said with a deadpan expression, get lost. When we got home, Nick hadn't even had a chance to take off his coat. When my agent's call came through. On the other end, my agent was frantically asking where I was. She breathed a sigh of relief when she heard I was with Nick. You and Nick were photographed. I'm sending you the link. You two discuss what to do and then give me an answer. Bye. I was still standing there stunned after the call ended. Nick chuckled and pinched my cheek. Don't be silly. Hurry up and see what happened. Oh, right. I opened my social media, and the top story was a push notification. It turns out we were photographed by the paparazzi when I went to pick him up tonight. That wasn't surprising ever since the show ended. The public had a sort of unspoken understanding about our situation. But this time, the paparazzi had somehow gotten a shot of Nick going into my room. The person who took the video was far away. The footage was blurry. But you could still clearly see Nick happily running towards my room. And then being pulled inside by a hand. It didn't take a genius to know it was me. Before, everyone just had a tacit understanding. Those who believed those who didn't wouldn't have believed it no matter what. Now, it was completely confirmed. I asked, should we go public? He was so happy he burst into song. Finally, I've waited for you. I just smiled and shook my head. That night, I logged onto my social media and tagged Nick. Let's just keep walking together like this. The moment I posted it, the comments started flooding in. I knew it. Phew, I can finally stop eating this dog food in secret. Ah, congratulations, Queen. You have to be happy forever tears. Surprisingly, Jenna also reposted my status. Congratulations. I politely replied with a thank you. Then I refreshed the page and saw Nick's repost. Guess I can change my username to Has Nick now. Nick's birthday was just around the corner. A month ago, he had started subtly probing me about what gift I had prepared for him. I'm not telling you. You'll find out on the day. For a whole month, every time Nick thought of a new possibility, he would ask me about it. After I completely shot down his guesses, he would go back to racking his brain. I was secretly laughing, my cheeks flushing whenever I thought about what I had planned for that day. Nick sharply caught the change and narrowed his eyes, studying me. Why are you blushing? He asked suspiciously. I lied through my teeth. You're seeing things. Nick stared at me for a long time but couldn't figure anything out, so he had to give up. Until his birthday. Nick got off work early, turned off his phone, and the housekeeper had been given a 3-day holiday. Hearing a noise from the courtyard. I closed my eyes, took a deep breath, and went into the bathroom to change. When I came out, I heard Nick calling me from downstairs. I'm home, honey. I looked at myself in the mirror, nervously tugging at the hem of my skirt. Nick was still calling for me. "Where are you, honey, you?" As I opened the door, Nick appeared at the top of the stairs. His mouth hung open, and the briefcase in his hand fell to the floor with a thud. Through his widened eyes, I could almost see what I looked like right now. A classic black and white maid's dress, with a cute headband. The neckline was slightly open, revealing my fair collarbones. The hem only reached my upper thighs, and my long, straight legs were encased in stockings, the thigh-highs squeezing my skin. I forced myself to say the two words, holding back my embarrassment. "Welcome home." My voice was barely a whisper. Nick swallowed hard. I kept my head down, not daring to look him in the eye. Just when I was wondering what to do next, I was suddenly swept up into his arms and thrown onto the bed. My mind went blank, and I struggled to sit up. "Wait." Nick chased me from the foot of the bed and pressed me down. He said hoarsely, "I can't wait." Nick undid his suit button with one hand and lifted my leg. I don't know if it was from being pressed down for too long, but I suddenly felt a little sick, like I wanted to throw up. Ugh. I suddenly felt nauseous. Nick stopped immediately, his eyes full of worry. "What's wrong?" I patted my chest and shook my head after calming down a bit. "It's nothing. You probably just pressed on my stomach." Hearing this, Nick lifted his body, trying not to touch me. "I'll be gentler then." I propped my foot on his thigh like a wicked landlord. "Hurry up." Nick chuckled. "I don't know who's serving who here." Despite his words, he obediently lowered his head. The ambiguous atmosphere in the room began to heat up. Suit pants, high heels, and stockings were scattered on the floor. In the dim room, only rustling sounds could be heard. At the most critical moment, I suddenly frowned. Without a word, I pushed Nick away and rushed into the bathroom. Ugh. Nick grabbed a piece of clothing from the floor and followed me, draping it over my shoulders. "What's wrong?" "Change your clothes, we're going to the hospital right now." I felt sick and pushed him away. As I moved, I suddenly remembered that my period seemed to be late. A dozen minutes later, I came out of the bathroom holding the pregnancy test I had bought a while ago. Nick rushed forward. "How is it?" I brought my hand out from behind my back and handed him the test. 2 bright, clear lines. Although we hadn't been to the hospital yet, it was most likely a done deal. I teased, "Looks like someone's special treat is cancelled." Nick was silent for a few seconds, then threw his head back and howled at the sky. "No.